So we want to welcome you. We want to welcome you and give a really warm welcome to the DC State Broadband and Digital Equity Office informational webinar for the District of Columbia's BEAD Challenge process. My name is Kevin Hughes, and I'm the administrator of the DC State Broadband and Digital Equity Office, which is under the leadership of DC's Office of the Chief Technology Officer, or OCTO. Just a few housekeeping notes. I'll serve as your host for this portion of our DC Challenge Process webinar. And at the end of the webinar, we'll have a Q&A session to answer any questions that you may have. Today's webinar will be recorded and will be available on our website at techtogetherdc.com. So let's begin. The DC State Broadband and Digital Equity Office has a vision for the district in which every resident and every business in every corner of DC can live, work, and thrive in the digital age without bias or barriers. The District of Columbia is so pleased to receive our share of NTIA's Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Grant, or BEAD funding, which provides $42.45 billion to states and territories to assist in the expansion of high-speed internet access by funding planning, infrastructure deployment, and adoption programs. Which brings us to the BEAD challenge process and the reason for our informational webinar today. The goal of the BEAD challenge process is to ensure the identification of the full universe of locations that are eligible for BEAD funding. In the challenge process, a unit of local government, nonprofit organization, or internet service provider may challenge whether a location or community anchor institution is eligible for BEAD funding, including whether a location has limited or no internet service. Our webinar today will provide important information and educate eligible entities on DC's challenge process and how to successfully submit challenges. So, with that said, exactly who's an eligible entity for the challenge process? Well, eligible entities are nonprofits, internet service providers, and local units of government, including tribal governments. Prior to submitting a challenge, all entities must submit a registration form and must be approved by the office. In today's webinar, we will walk you through completing a registration as well as demonstrating how to use our portal to submit challenges. Now, please make a note. DC's challenge process will be open from Tuesday, September 17th to Monday, September 30th. And eligible challenge locations will be published from Tuesday, September 10th to Tuesday, September 16th, and can be accessed from our website at techtogetherdc.com. Please be sure to review the District of Columbia's initial proposal, Volume 1, on our techtogetherdc.com website, along with our BEAD challenge process resource guide, which is available on our challenge portal website. Now, both of these documents will be referenced throughout this process and will include information about the different phases of the overall BEAD process, important deadlines, and guidance for the next steps ahead. So now it's time for your very first challenge. And I'll hand it over to our colleagues from the Ready.net team to show you how our challenge portal looks and how to use it. Over to you, Ready.net. Okay, it looks like we're having a little trouble syncing up the video, so just give us a few minutes and we should be able to get that underway.
Is Shannon Williams with Ready.net, the company supporting the DC Broadband Office with deploying the challenge process. It's a pleasure to be with you today. We'll start by describing the pre-registration process and then walk you through how to use our challenge portal to submit your challenge. Entities that are interested in submitting a challenge should visit the SB DEO website, register.broadband.dc.gov, which is shown here. Entities that are eligible to submit challenges include broadband service providers, local governments, tribal governments, and nonprofits. Once you get to the landing page, simply click Register Now to obtain an overview of the challenge process, relevant policies, and a resource guide with detailed instructions about the challenge process. Also, from the landing page, you go back and click See Map. You can access DC's locations that are eligible for submitting challenges. On the left-hand panel, you can obtain information about existing locations designated served, unserved, or underserved before the challenge process starts. You can also sort these locations by their designation as an anchor institution, funding programs, broadband technology, and which internet service providers are provided at each of those locations. You can zoom in pretty closely to obtain location level data on each of these locations. For example, the one that I've just selected here, it lists the providers, the building types, and other identifying information. Once you've perused the map and decided to submit, you go back to the landing page and simply click Register Now. Click Register and answer all of the required questions. The system is pretty straightforward and easy to use, but I'll demonstrate submission now by entering test data. You can also send and share applicable documentation to assist in verifying your eligibility to submit challenges here. Once you've uploaded, either through dragging or dropping or clicking for a file upload, you click Finish and simply return to home. Once your registration is submitted, SBDEO will review and either accept or deny your access to the portal. Pre-registration to submit a challenge is open as of today, Tuesday, September 10th. We encourage you to register as soon as possible. Once the broadband office reviews your registration and they approved or reject, approved challengers will be notified and prompted to sign in to their challenge portal. Eligible challengers will be able to access the portal, but not submit challenges until the window has been opened. You'll receive reminders to notify you when the challenge window opens and when it closes. So now I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the process for submitting a challenge once you gain access to your challenge portal. So in order to submit a challenge, eligible entities must first visit their dashboard on our challenge process portal. What you see here is the dashboard that you'll obtain access to once your registration is approved. In order to log in, again, once you're notified, you can use either an email password combo, or you can use a magic link, which sends an email with a link to log in directly without a password. Your dashboard, or here, I'll direct you to the dashboard here, is your starting point for all eligible entities throughout the challenge process. Beneath your dashboard, you'll see the challenge map, which will direct you to locations that are eligible to be challenged within the District of Columbia. You can add a challenge either by clicking Add Challenge here or directly from your dashboard. Both will direct you to the map, which allows you to filter through locations that you would like to challenge. So once you're ready to submit a challenge, you select Add Challenge, and then you select the relevant challenge category. These challenge categories have been developed in accordance with NTIA guidance. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'll select Planned or Existing Service Challenge category. The portal then prompts you to answer questions to explain the challenge details. So you simply select the technology type, the advertised download speed, the advertised upload speed, confirm the latency, and identify the type of customer service you serve. Again, this question is specific to this particular challenge type that I'm demonstrating for you here. Every challenge category will have questions that are catered to align with NTIA guidance. You can select locations to add to your challenge in a few different ways. One, you would select a zone to include. You could also upload a list of location IDs in a CSV spreadsheet, or you can select directly from the map. The portal will allow you to export those locations selected in a spreadsheet for your records. For now, I'll choose an existing zone that I've already created in the app to preload challenge submission. So here you see the polygon that I developed with the locations included. Creating this polygon or this zone to include is simple. You simply click the tab, click Create Zone, give the zone a name. You can define the zone boundaries through drawing or uploading your own shape files or selecting from an existing library. And then once you create the zone, it's populated here. And the system allows you to select that zone and add it to your challenge. All of the locations listed are now included in my challenge submission. A total of 29 locations selected. In addition, I'd have to drag and drop irrelevant documentation in order to move forward with this selection. For the purposes of this discussion, I will select a document to add to this. So maybe this will just be notes. Drag and drop that here. Now, when you do an actual submission, it won't be just notes. It should be actual evidence in accordance with NTIA guidance. At the end, you're asked to submit a challenge attestation verifying the validity of your submission data. And you simply select Submit to submit the challenge. Once you submit the challenge, everything that you submitted is populated in this dashboard, which you can view here on the map, or you can view on your challenge dashboard page. Once the challenge window concludes, you'll be notified via email from the DC broadband office. And once all of those challenges complete initial review, the SBO will make a determination, and you will then be prompted when the rebuttal phase opens. When the rebuttal phase opens, you'll get notifications sent directly to you, and you'll be allowed the opportunity to submit rebuttals, including any challenges that aren't submitted directly against a provider. You'll be able to, as an eligible challenger, be notified of the opportunity to submit rebuttals on all open rebuttal challenges. In addition to that standard notification, you'll be notified of any challenges submitted in your region if you are a service provider. And you'll also be notified when the rebuttal window, which is 30 days, closes. So that pretty much concludes our overview. Again, this dashboard is going to be your friend, where you'll receive all of the information about the submitted challenges, whether or not initial review has been conducted, and whether or not any revisions have been requested. In addition, your rebuttals will populate on this dashboard as well. In some cases, the SBO will request a revision. When that happens, the directive is for you to withdraw that specific challenge and then resubmit in accordance with the revisions that are requested by the broadband office. Once you submit a challenge, you're not able to edit it once it's formally submitted. You'll have to withdraw the challenge, which is easy. You just simply select these three dots here to withdraw, and then submit a new challenge. You also have the option to export all of your challenge data on this portal, as well as invite teammates or other members of your organization to review your challenge submissions and assist you with making any requested revisions, or in reviewing any potential rebuttal submissions once that phase opens. And so now that concludes our demo of the challenge portal itself. I'll turn it back over to Kevin, and I'll be happy to stay on for any questions with myself and my team. You're also able to submit questions once you're using the portal to DC Help Desk at ready.net. If you encounter any kind of technical issues, we're here to support and assist as best we can. And now I'll turn it over to Kevin. Thank you.
That concludes this section of our informational webinar on the BEAD challenge process for the District of Columbia. Please continue to regularly monitor our website at techtogetherdc.com for additional updates and information. All policy-related questions should go to the DC Help Desk at ready.net email address. We want to thank you for your participation, and now we'll transition to our live Q&A session. Thank you. And we are now in our Q&A session. I want to thank all of our team members, our SBDO team members, who working behind the scenes, in addition to our ready.net colleagues, to help us to put together this webinar. This is a very exciting time for us here at the State Broadband Office. Obviously, this webinar represents the first stage of our Q&A, of our challenge process, rather. And so we're very excited to be at this point for the District of Columbia. So with that said and done, we'd like to open up the floor to any of our participants who are joining us for any questions that you may have for us at this time.
Evan, I have the first question. What can be a challenge?
Okay, so when it comes to challenges, you know, there are different types of challenges that can take place within each challenge class. Generally, challenges can either be on one of the following grounds. BEAD eligibility determinations for broadband serviceable locations, including the FCC's National Broadband Map, or enforceable commitments for existing BSLs. And those are locations that have existing funding is what I'm referring to. Planned or existing service for existing BSLs. And the identification of eligible CAIs is another one. And then CAI BEAD eligibility determinations. So generally, you know, challenges will fall within the scope of one of those that I mentioned. So that's sort of what, you know, will constitute a challenge. The other thing that I wanted to take the time to mention, which was referenced during our webinar, is that as it pertains to eligibility, right, in terms of who can actually submit a challenge. So really the only entities that are able to participate in our challenge process are ISPs, nonprofit organizations, units of local government, and then units of tribal governments, if that were applicable in this, you know, in our situation. But generally, those are the only eligible entities that would be able to participate in our program. Any other questions? You saw the portal demonstrated. It looks great. You guys can visit us at our techtogetherdc.com website, where you'll actually be able to take a look at our maps of eligible locations. That's available right now. So you can go to the site directly following our website. You can register. You won't be able to actually participate until the actual window opens, but at least you can conduct your registration. So we're very pleased to be at this point where we are moving forward in a very positive manner with regards to DC's challenge process. Next question.
Will the system allow registered parties to see other challenges that have been submitted for a specific location?
Okay, so I'll ask our colleagues from Ready to take that one for us.
And the clarifying is unit of local government and what that entitle.
Sure, I'll take that. I also have my team members on the call to add additional clarifying information. You cannot view the other challenges that have been submitted while the challenge window is open. Now, once it closes and the rebuttal phase starts, you can view challenges that have been submitted. In addition, at the end of the whole thing, when everything is adjudicated, there will be a map that'll be populated with all the challenges that have been submitted and what the final status is of those locations. And regarding the question about units of local government. So basically, any municipality, city, unincorporated places, I believe, is also included there.
Right.
But you have to be a part of the government itself, not an entity that supports or contracts to the government or a nonprofit. Nonprofits are eligible, but that would be in the nonprofit category versus local government category. Oh, local government, you're absolutely right. I mean, in this case, DC, is a special case regarding its designation as a state versus a district versus local government. So, yep, great pointing that out. I saw the question from John. Not familiar with the acronym you list here. Kevin, maybe you can address that part of the question from John.
Yeah, we need clarification on that. And ANC.
Kevin, the ANC is the Advisory Neighborhood Commissions. So DC has multiple ANC for each ward in the neighborhood. So they're asking if local government does not exist in DC, is an ANC okay?
Okay, let's. I don't want to. I'd like to get some more background on that before I answer, answer incorrectly to that. We should be good, John. Why don't you contact us offline, and then we can provide the verification on that question. Okay. Next question. Anything else that we haven't covered?
The other question says, when registering, there is a question when you select broadband service provider to confirm which provider, but the only option is other. Will this eventually be populated or should we just select other?
Okay, ready? Can you guys feel that way?
Yeah, so the site should populate the providers that are within the District of Columbia. So if you're seeing only other, we need to ticket that and immediately correct it. So I apologize, but yes, your actual list of providers needs to be populated in that list when you register to select. So we'll work on our end to get that resolved immediately. In the meantime, we'll defer to Kevin to receiving registrations. Recommend just wait a day before that's resolved, before you submit. But if you want to submit today, select other, and then we'll work with you directly to get your specific broadband service provider information.
Thanks for that question, Martha. And any other questions from our group?
No, at the moment.
So again, our challenge process is really, it's a great one that is designed to, validate or verify location connectivity, bandwidth speed, and other factors of, various locations within the district. So we are really very appreciative of, all of our ISPs, our nonprofits who are on the call today and who are very interested in participating in this process. The challenge process is an important component of every state broadband office's initiative with regards to moving forward with the other duties that we have to execute under the federal BEAD program, such as our subgrantee selection process, which is coming, and other areas of work that we will be working on. So the challenge process is, again, an important factor. We really encourage full participation by all of our broadband stakeholders within the district so that we have a robust response and robust showing and participation on you guys' part in terms of your participation in this process. Okay? Any other questions at this time?
No questions at the moment. I will go ahead and post the challenge, our timeline for the BEAD challenge process in the chat so everyone can take a look at it and save it if they need it. If there's any question, please feel free to reach out. Kevin, just question came in, says, are ISP providers restricted to providing internet service, or are they able to provide educational training, related training to broadband service?
Well, for the challenge process, we're really looking, from a technical point, verification on connectivity and bandwidth speeds, latency, and things of that nature. For the other, the other things that you mentioned, you can contact our office directly, and we'll be happy to talk to you about opportunities to work with you on those points that you mentioned. Okay. And again, as my colleague mentioned, just a reminder of the key dates. Our publication of our eligible locations is currently in effect. So that is September 10th through the 16th. And you can visit our website directly following our webinar here. Go to the techtogether.dc.com website, and you can see a list of all of the eligible locations that are a part of our challenge process. And then that segues into our actual challenge phase. And again, on the website, you're able to register from now for your organization's participation in the challenge process. So we're very pleased with everything that has brought us to this point. And now the District of Columbia is ready to move forward full speed ahead with our BEAD challenge process. Any other questions or anything that I needed to cover?
No questions at the moment.
Okay.
Oh, another one came in. Are you able to see the locations without registering?
I can jump in there. Yes, you are. If you go to the landing page of the challenge site and click See Map, that's where you'll be able to access and view the locations without registering.
Great. Thank you so much. Anything else from our participants? Really appreciate you guys being here. Okay. If there's not, we want to thank you for your participation. This concludes our District of Columbia informational BEAD webinar process and our discussion on the upcoming DC challenge process. We really hope that you found this webinar to be helpful and informative as we move forward with the implementation of DC's challenge process. And again, our office is available. You can contact us at any time via email or call us direct, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. We want to thank you again for your participation, and we look forward to your participation in the upcoming District of Columbia BEAD challenge process. Thank you and good day.